So I tell everybody that lives in
We're gonna do
California, look at these arms. Let me see this arm.
It's bad. I know.
Yes.
I know. I have the
That
freckliest-
literally makes me drool. You will never guess what this injury is from. It was hilarious. And he was like totally looking at me like I was nuts, but I probably am nuts. But he was like, okay, what's it from? And I was like, I inject literally a gallon of Botox a day. And he was like, what? Hi, everybody. I'm here with my great friend Amber from Facial Lounge. Today, we want to talk about the physical beating it takes on our bodies to be in the customer service industry, right? Wow. Something I probably never, ever, ever would have thought that it is like running a marathon every single day. So I guess we kind of got started on that because I was like, oh, my hands hurt so bad today. And I've got this, look at this. Can you guys see that? How weird that is?
Do it in the mic so they can hear it pop.
It's funky. Anyway, I have all these weird, like, I don't know what they are, but my tendons basically, I feel like want to burst. But I didn't take good care of my hands and I didn't take good care of my feet. In fact, I do admit that for like 10 years or more, I wore stilettos to work.
I remember, yeah.
What was that about? I don't know. But
Sex in the City made us all
maybe
feel like
that's
we
what it
had
was.
to.
Yeah, I was
you
like a
viewed
Sex
it-
in the City Botox girl.
Yeah, and you wear jeans and heels.
That's
and
right.
Yeah.
Yes. I wish I had heels on every, well, I have these little itty bitties now. Itty bitties, if I wear them at all.
Little kitten heels.
But, so it was kind of funny. The story I was telling Amber here was, so the first time I went to the doctor, I had cortisone shots, and then he's like, okay, well, you're looking like you're going to need a surgery because there's this little hole in your bone called a foramen, and it's only yay big, and your nerves are all inflamed. And so that's what this pain is about. And if you don't rest your hands, and I have to wear, even at night, I'm supposed to wear like, I do wear these big old like braces on both hands at night, and it still isn't really getting better. But anyway, he was like, oh, he's like, you're a piano player, right? And I was like, no, I'm not. And he's like, oh, this injury is usually, I see a lot of piano players with it. And I was like, oh, interesting. And he's like, golf? And I was like, no, in fact, I'll give you 100 million chances. And I guarantee you, you will never guess what this injury is from. It was hilarious. And he was like, totally looking at me like I was nuts, but I probably am nuts. But he was like, okay, what's it from? And I was like, I inject literally a gallon of Botox a day. And he was like, what? That's right. And he was like, and I was like, that's what it is, Daddy. Sure is. So there you go. Boom. Little tiny thing like that. Who would have thought like a movement like that is going to be like a gnawing pain that I have all day, every day, right? Anyway, I thought I was a real genius because then I was like, oh, no problem. I'll just inject left-handed. No problem, right? Well, guess what? The first hand that went down, my left hand. Surgery number 1, and then 2 and 3. And I think I'm heading back for 4. So, yuck. I definitely didn't stretch. They're always like, every time I go for like physical therapy or anything, they're like, your hands are, they're like not very flexible. But who thinks about having flexible hands and my feet? So, and I know you like all day long over
Facials,
a facial, that's got to kill your back and your neck, right?
It does. Well, I found Pilates back 20 years ago when it was like no one knew what the word was. And inside Shape Up, we had Pilates. So I remember them teaching me my core. And they go, you have to cough and hold. And I remember thinking, oh, what's that? Like cough and hold, that's your core. And I remember thinking, oh my gosh. So they said because my back would hurt on the stool.
Yeah.
And I would cough and hold. And I kind of learned how to like, and now it's something that's like part of my life, but learning little postures and tricks and massaging.
Yeah.
I buy arnica cream
Yep.
all the time and massage my hands. I learned egoscue, which you would love. It's the coolest stretches in the world. A lot of stretches to go back posture. One time, this
I'm
is really
stiff monkey, man.
One
I feel
time
like
I-
I'm like,
Oh, I get so tired. But it's funny because my body, as a bigger girl, I could actually stretch, but I have to get myself there. Like Egoscue is one of my favorite things. When she stretches me, it's interesting. I could go there, but
She always knows all the cool things.
Oh, this one's
this
cool.
one's full of them. I love
This
it.
one's
Amber's
well,
the best.
the clients,
Egoscue. I'm gonna start doing it.
you're
You guys
gonna
will see me
freak.
next week.
There's a
know,
girl
like,
named Mida in Newport. Oh, she's like the best in the world, and truly,
it.
no, she's so good. It's like a whole. You leave there like, what just happened to my body? It's amazing, but. Learning to tap into your body when our adrenaline's rushing, we're like taking care of people. You forget. Like I will
100%.
fight through some pain. Like
yeah, my
nobody's
hands
business.
don't usually hurt at work because I'm like, you just go numb to it or whatever, and I'm like, "Brr," I'm just doing what I got to do. But take care of those hands and those feet and the back and all the rest, right? You don't think you're gonna get old, but you are.
It happens, and it happens so cool. Like, and one pain will pull all these things. So it's like my mother used to drive with her leg up. Okay, she put her.
I drive like that too.
And it threw her hips off. So she's pushing her thing, it's constantly pushing her hips off, which causes her whole body to unalign. You do it all the time. So when I get in the car, I straighten out. They told me straighten my hips because too when I hop in, you're kind of crooked. You just drive. Sometimes I'm in there.
Although I like mine now, it remembers my seat, and I have it like all these things like hooked around me that I really like.
What is that?
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like if you turn, it goes like it helps you. Yeah. I don't know. It's a new Mercedes sedan that I have, but it definitely, if you turn, it goes. So
That will help your back.
I know. I was like, don't touch my car seat settings because I get in and somebody always undoes them. But I'm like,
I want that just for my back alignment because I actually have to straighten myself. Sometimes I'll be driving, I'm a little cockeyed, and I know that's going to throw my hips off, and I'm a little pigeon-toed. So I'm working so hard. When I went to Egoscue, it was so cute. One of my estheticians.
Do you know I wanted to be pigeon-toed my whole life?
Oh, wow.
There was the coolest girl in school in the 6th grade. This is I don't know why I'm even bringing this up, but anyway.
No, thank you. No, I
her name was
this
Beth
because
Jenkins. If you're out there, Beth Jenkins, you were the coolest girl at school, and she had these super cool, like punk rock pointed, like black shoes with like these like silver.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
Right. And she was pigeon-toed. And I remember just thinking how good she looked walking down that hall, pigeon-toed with her. And I would remember being at home trying to walk pigeon-toed like her.
Well, no one's ever thought my pigeon
before
toe
your
was
time.
sexy.
There you go.
Thank you. I'm like, I hope someone's like, oh my God, Amber
I even remember
Burns
her
was
name.
the
So I
cutest.
brought that from the 6th freaking grade.
Yeah, no, I was.
Beth Jenkins. That was a poll. All right.
I did know
Hey,
one
Beth.
other girl who was pigeon-toed, and she was actually kind of cute. So I forgot her name, but she was cute. And but I am pigeon-toed, and I work so hard. But it's funny because when you're doing facials, when you're in it, one of my estheticians, which I didn't know did physical therapy before she worked for us, and I didn't know that. And so the other day she's walking, she's like, "You're walking really hard. Like it's really hard on your back, how you're walking today." And she's like, "Sometimes you do this, and when I get tired, I just ignore my body, and I forgot how I look. Sometimes I'll see myself and go, "Oy," I was like slopping and slamming around,
Sloshing around.
Yeah, I was like, but I'm just so I'm worried about everyone else, so I take time. So when I went to Egoscue, I go, I seriously want to learn to walk. I know it sounds so silly, but let's start over because
actually, I'd like to learn how to walk too. If you guys have all seen me walk, I have like that. Everyone's like, your butt's sticking out. And I've had this my whole life. Why are you sticking your butt out? I'm like,
you have the cutest body.
I want to learn how to walk too. So maybe I'll go see her.
Funny,
I want my butt to suck in, so it doesn't look like I'm walking around like. Oh.
She was telling me I have to do heel toe, and I kind of stomp, especially when this leg goes in. So which makes your tushy not engaged. So it's interesting. They can check to see your engagement on all your muscles and find out what's not engaging, and it affects your muscles.
Okay.
And it affects your whole body. So
I'm gonna go do it and tell you guys. I will report back.
Yes, and when you're doing injections one side, it throws everything off. So
that's why I thought I was a genius by doing the left side. But guess what?
That was actually smart.
It went out way before this one even did. So I guess because it's like any muscle, you got to work it up to get it to that point, and so it hadn't worked out, and so doing that workout, all of a sudden it's all.
It was like no.
What are you doing?
Yeah. Well, that's why I say skincare is kind of like the nutrition for the skin, right? So if someone's using good skincare,
right?
We just launched a bio repeel. It's a strong peel, not as strong as what you have. It's TCA peel, but for estheticians, not Medi. And it's pretty strong for us.
Yeah.
And
I love TCA. I still love it.
I love it. And this peel, I'll get you one, is so good and like very little, like no downtime.
Yeah, people don't like the downtime. Perfect.
It's so perfect. I'll get you my rep's number. He's so good. But what I did notice is this was really fun. And I did a lot of them before it launched. I did a lot. Almost 100% of people who are using our Luxe cream. We make a cream. It was originally made for rosacea. It's like it helps the barrier repair. It's like very rich, creamy, but doesn't break anyone out. So it's like even acne could use it.
Okay.
Moisturizer is one of our best sellers. Anyone who was using that and they did the peel, they hardly felt it. And they were glowing. It was like this perfect thing. Anyone who was using other brands, especially anything that was like super active, it stung a lot when I put them on. So I always say like our skincare is kind of like if someone's using good skincare, then they could do
like
the
the
lasers.
fertilizer,
Yeah,
kind
it
of
makes
like-
it say it's like it makes so it's like running. Like if you're dehydrated, you go on a run, all your
Yeah,
body's
your
gonna
body
cramp
flips
up.
out, yeah.
Yeah. So when someone's using good moisturizers, they can do more lasers. So people always say like, should I get a laser? Absolutely. Should I get Botox? Absolutely. But we want to make sure if you're using moisturizer, Botox, it doesn't matter. But if you're gonna get a treatment, if your skin's hydrated, it can do so much more.
True. I agree. That's very true. Plus, you want to protect that investment if you're going to do it too. It's not, I mean, it's not like it's just whimsical money. I mean, it's really an investment in you and your
Yeah.
face and, you know, what you want to put forward. So that's really cool. But let's talk about, I keep wanting to go through Instagram and like look for different like freaky freak things. And I love doing IPLs on everybody. As you know, I dragged that 8,000 pound IPL machine in and out of your dad's gym. Oh my gosh, so many times, you guys. My old laser was
Huge.
yay big. It was like
Huge. And
dragging
having-
in a linebacker, right?
And she had to roll it in. It was like roll. It's like when you go in hotels and they're rolling those huge like carts of
It didn't even faze me.
yeah, no, like those
no
sheet
problem.
carts. It was like bigger than that thing.
Yeah,
it was
I'm
like
like,
huge.
"Wow, we're just gonna show up over here and do some IPLs and
look
anyway. Nobody taught me how to do an IPL from back in the day, and I think that was like the biggest blessing because nowadays, I have to fight against this all the time too. People are like, "Oh, IPL doesn't work on me," and I'm like, "IPL works on everybody. It has to be hot enough." So all these companies now come in and they go, "Oh, we have IPL, it doesn't hurt," and I'm like, "That means it doesn't work." And they're like, "Oh no, it's the newest, the greatest, this and that, and this and that." So we just bought all new IPLs, in fact, and we did all these head-to-head studies with all these different brands. And
I want to be a study next time.
okay,
Use my face.
Okay.
I'm due for an IPL.
all right, I love IPLs. Everybody,
No, my
especially in
first IPLs
California,
were still my favorite.
you need an IPL. Period. Nothing takes sun damage off like an IPL. Okay, so you know what I wanted to kind of talk about because I know we kind of got segued into something else, but I want to talk about who you can and can't do IPL or BBL on and like what is it good for, because it's looking for anything dark in the skin. That's why it's not like a peel where it just like gets rid of everything. But I found this on Instagram and I was like, oh,
Hey everyone,
oh my God,
look at my
her.
face.
This poor girl.
It's devastating, right?
Oh my God.
She looks like she had such pretty skin. Like you could tell.
I want to
she has good
inform
skin tone.
everyone
I don't
about
know
the
what-
risk
why they told
of a
her to do
BBL broadband
Not only
laser
is
facial.
it inappropriate skin
I
color,
recently went in to see my
it was
esthetician and
so
was told that
sloppy.
this
Look
would
how much
be
miss. I mean,
perfect
if,
for
you know
my
what? If
skin.
she was neat about
No
it,
risk,
at least
no
that would be all
scarring,
one
no
color, and it
downtime.
wouldn't be. That's another
Just a
thing
little
too.
bit
I'm
of
like,
swelling.
let me tell you about one
Unfortunately,
thing,
after my
girls, with
service,
IPL. When I train
I
people,
went into shock.
if you're gonna burn them,
Had to be
if
sent
it's
to the
like
ER,
all done everywhere and
and
it's
now
not
have
patchy,
first
like
and
trying to go
second
and
degree
fix
burn.
that, I would just fall on the floor. I'm already exhausted just looking at her, going, oh
This service
God.
is not for melanated skin.
Because somebody's going to
not
have
for
to go try to
pigmented
go
skin.
in between that
And
and
at
block
this
the whiter
point,
parts.
Shouldn't even be
So
offered.
you can't do IPL on everybody.
So those
to
white
people
parts,
with
really
brown
quick, are those
skin.
the melanins now ruined? Is it going to be?
You know,
like
there's
that?
a couple of things.
Once again,
sometimes
Please, people,
I'm on the fence if
don't
that's going
allow
to
them
be
to tell you
actually
it's for our
white
skin,
permanently.
or that
because
it
when
won't
you
leave
lose your
scarring,
melanin, there's like
or that
nothing
it's
brings it
gonna
back.
do it.
So could you
I
imagine?
had to go to the
Oh,
emergency.
it reminds me back in the day. Oh my God. I worked for this dermatologist, and this is like probably 27 or 8 years ago, like a really long time ago. And we did CO2 laser, which is a really deep laser that completely removes the skin on this like lady from, I think she was like Samoan. Yes, like a Samoan lady. And she came back and her eyes were white. And I was just, I still think about her to this day and go, oh. And I remember the doctor being like, oh, well, we're not sure at this point what that's going to do. And I was like, because with that color skin, she's hiding it to this day.
So it just totally ruined her melanin.
It
She'll
it
never.
completely removed it.
My mom had laser where and it was fine. She was okay with it. But my mom was tanner.
Yeah.
And it literally, she had a line.
Yeah,
from where
that's-
it was like white to
That's
like.
old school CO2, which
Yeah.
we don't really do that anymore.
Yeah.
So, but I mean,
She knew how to do makeup, and it wasn't
Yeah.
horrific. But spotches like that.
oh
and
gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, at least this one's a little neater. where she's gonna have to hide. You can just see like right there on her masseter right there, and then like under her eye she'll have to hide. But oh god, this poor baby. Oh,
Hers seems like it's evening out though. Hers seems like it's gonna even. It looks like it might.
it's a lot of work though, and this to go through that, it's so sad. I just feel like,
It's a little better.
how long did it take that poor girl to feel confident again?
Does it say?
But you'll notice with hers though, thank God there's no white, right? The other girl that was African American, I'm a little more okay. So she's lucky if she doesn't get melasma from this,
That's
right?
another thing.
Then
Yeah.
it could be permanently. You hyper excite those melanocytes, and then they just don't go away, or you get into the sun and you get crazy melasma from it.
And the first video we had, well, there's no after video of how her skin's looking now. I would love to know.
I know. I'm
how
like,
she
can I
looks
check
now."
on you?
Yeah.
Poor girl, come see me. I'll help you.
Yeah.
But so anyway, what went wrong with that first one is it couldn't differentiate between like sun damage, and most African American skin doesn't even get sun damage like that. So I don't know what they get, like these little black skin tags almost.
Or a scarring. She could have some acne scars, but that's not what she should
Yeah,
do.
maybe. But yeah, never. That's not what you should do. So really, you have to be able to differentiate the skin color and the sun damage. And if you cannot, the machine absolutely will not. So I don't know.
If someone had darker skin and had scarring, could you spot treatment those areas, or what would you do
I would
instead?
only trust somebody that has been doing it for a million trillion years. Like I would not. I would ask them, "Are you an expert in IPL?" And if their immediate answer wasn't absolutely, yes, I am, or if they were kind of like, well,
What would you suggest
you
in place?
you could do it, but there's so many machines now where it's just a better machine for it. It'll take longer. And sometimes people don't like that about it. They're like, I just want one and done. And that's what I love about IPLs for anybody that's maybe a little bit lighter than that African American girl and up, but actually gets freckles. Like if your skin doesn't get freckles, it's not for you. Because freckles, this is what I tell people too. Do your freckles before, like this thing, like I don't know if you can see this little dot right here, it drives me nuts. This is a true age spot, because once it gets to this size or bigger, like the size of a pencil eraser, let's say, right?
Yeah.
It's in so deep that there's no amount of anything that's going to remove it, which is there forever. So I tell everybody that lives in
We're gonna do
California, look at these arms. Let me see this arm.
It's bad. I know.
Yes.
I know. I have the
That
freckliest.
literally makes me drool.
We're
I'm
gonna
like,
IPL. I was gonna do the bio repeal on it, but if you want to do
No.
IPL, let's do it.
let's do one arm with one and one with the other and see
That's
what you
fun.
think.
I love doing that.
I
I'm
do
such a science
too.
project.
Me
Listen,
too, girl. I got bumps and all kinds of scars all over
I
the place.
make a
from doing
joke
those.
that I look like shit, so everyone looks great. When I had a spray tan business, I would do one brand on one leg. I would spray the other leg with this leg. I would spray different ones, and I would use different lotions because I want to see what lotion made it last
okay.
longer. And for a while, or I do like my legs.
You sound like me. I've walked around a million times with one laser on one side and one on the
Oh,
other, and I'm all like
100%.
elephantitis and burned or like whatever.
One
People are
time,
like,
there's
"What
some
is
pictures
that?"
of me. I'm ombre because I'm like dark to light because this ran off and this, or one arm was dark to light, and I would use some Epicure lotion on one hand to see if it, because certain
Yeah.
lotions made it dissolve, and we didn't know which lotions because they go, my spray tan doesn't last long. I go, what are you using? I would go buy the lotion, and then I would use it and go, you know
love
what?
you for that.
That oil. I would have to know. So then I had 5 things.
You're
I'm
like my
you can
little
only
sister,
use
for sure.
This lotion when you get your spray tan so it doesn't come off. Epicure
Me
was
too,
one of
man.
them.
I've been experimenting all the time on
And so-
everybody.
and,
Yep.
I love it. I will totally, let's do it.
Okay.
I will
come tomorrow.
repeal this
Let's
and
do
let's
it.
laser
Let's
this
do
one.
it. Yay. All right.
And
well,
I want
that's
to show
fun.
people the real results.
Yeah, I think that'd be awesome. Okay, we'll do it. But
so
so
excited.
these girls that want to do it, I mean, I love IPL in the right hands. Just don't get burned from it, right? It's a controlled burn, so I shouldn't say don't get burned. I would say if you're African American, just don't even mess with it. There's so many machines now. Like 10, 15 years ago, we had nothing for African American skin. I mean, but also black don't crack, does it? I mean, I just don't feel like they have as much garbage growing off their skin as we
melanin
do.
is a natural antioxidant. It's like it is
Yeah.
a natural superpower to It's
sure
anti-aging. It's a natural sunscreen.
Yep.
So it doesn't age so the lighter the hair, the lighter the eyes.
The harder your age, baby, the harder you fall.
It is
Boom.
true. It's true.
I know that white skin too well, and when it grows, right? All these barnacles. So that's what I tell people. A freckle's cute. I even think a freckle is totally cute.
I love freckles. Love
But the problem is those freckles start holding hands, and then they become an age spot, and then they start getting puffy, and they become what's called seborrheic keratosis. Ugly, nasty, old, right? Those are disgusting. If anybody has that and thinks that it looks like that dried Play-Doh,
exactly, yep.
and like somebody gave you a dried up Play-Doh mole, like, oh God, no. I mean, you just can't have that. I mean, you just cannot. I would scratch that off with my fingernails if I had to. I could never, any sort of anything. I'm such a weirdo though. I can't have any bumps of any sort. It drives me crazy. And so that's what I don't like. And I'm not going to say like, oh, get rid of whatever you have, although some people want to, whatever. But like, if you think you're going to start getting age spots, and just look at your parents and you'll know. That's what I usually tell people is like, you know what's coming down the pipeline for you, so fix it. Like, just do something.
Yeah.
At least if you did an IPL like once a year. And people are going to say, what's the difference between IPL and BBL? Not much. It's broadband light or intense pulse light. Basically, the difference is it's multiple beams of light versus a laser is one beam of light. They get all of it. Laser's much more powerful because they pull all of and make it into one. That one beam is super, super powerful. And so that's kind of the difference. Lay people, it heals and feels and acts like a laser. It's just technically not. But I don't know if anybody cares about that anyway, because it can definitely hurt you. So, I mean, as you saw this poor girl's skin, I mean, that's probably going to have to bleach out that area for a million years. The only way that one thing could happen good for that black girl is if that was the color that she was, like maybe when she was a baby, and it just strips off any kind of sun that she's had, and then she goes back in the sun and let's say gets tanned, it might totally even out. Unless it's the absolute absence of pigment or it's white, then it's forever.
Yeah, and I remember that with my mom. You know, I remember that when it was an area right here that got real white. They just hit like that bone, and she had like this white.
Well, we used to abruptly stop, and now we kind of feather down too, so it's not like this.
She had hers. I mean,
did Dr. Brennan do that to her? Does that sound familiar? I feel like that's where she went.
I think it was Dr. Fulton.
Makes sense. Yes, he was a CO2 monster. He was.
I was positive it was Dr. Fulton.
The CO2 boogeyman. Yes.
So, this was like 90s. I mean,
okay.
Yeah. So, and then melanin never came back. And my mom tanned really well, but her face never tanned again.
Yeah.
So she loved her Chanel. She found a foundation that made it blend into her original color. And, my mom was a comedian. She made jokes about.
I love your mom.
About,
she's the best.
She used to say,
she's like a plastic surgeon comedian.
She was a plastic surgeon comedian. She's like,
we should watch one of her like videos on here one day or something.
Oh no, for sure. She's so funny. But one of her things was, I wish I knew what I knew now when I was younger, because so many more people would have saw me naked. Yeah. She's like, had I known I was going to get age spots and wrinkles,
right?
And,
all the rest.
Yeah. She's like, I used to be young. I used to say, you could look, but don't touch. Now she's like, you could touch, don't look. Don't look. But one of my favorite things she said is, she's like, and this is a real story. She goes, oh my God, I found a 3-for-1. I go, what do you mean? She goes, I found an age spot on top of a spider vein.
Oh.
I go, oh my God, she got a big, thick age spot on top of it. She goes, but don't worry, Amber, it was hidden inside a wrinkle.
Oh, God.
And so, but yeah, but
that's the truth, right?
So hard.
It's painful getting old.
My mom would, what has come, my mom's passed for some time now, but what's coming, she would have.
Your mom was the best. She was
loved
hilarious.
Any and newest. My mother was the guinea pig of guinea pigs. This is a real story.
Anybody try anything on her? Yep.
Oh, anything. This is a real story. I think I talked about this. Did I say this last time about how I was getting.
Oh, she wanted your fat
my
in her
fat
face?
Yeah. Yeah, that's a real story. And the doctor, they were thinking about it. I mean, that was real. And I remember she's like, well, let's just try it. What's the worst that could happen?
Oh, I can think of a lot of worse that could happen.
A lot of things. Cindy Burns, your cheeks would fall off. So she wanted more cheeks, and my mom was obsessed
with her hands. I remember that.
Mom was really obsessed with her hands. Mom had hand facials, and she really liked her neck.
She wanted those veins out. She wanted all of that to be puffy. I remember her hands so well.
So well, don't you?
Yes,
yeah, she had
absolutely.
a lot. And I still do my hands like her.
Yeah, she always would be exactly like that.
She was a very handy
Handy
person.
lady.
She likes her hands. But yeah, and it was, I learned very young. I mean, my hands are good. My sunscreen, you can see where I stopped on my sunscreen.
Yep.
Because I would do my hands driving, but my arm would be out that window.
All right, well, we'll check
Yikers.
it out tomorrow. What do you think of all these machines that are coming out for wrinkles? This one claims that you don't need Botox anymore if you...
No, I haven't seen this one.
Don't buy this. Don't buy this if you want to continue getting Botox, because this is going to eliminate the need for Botox. It has 2 modes with it. It has a shot mode and a booster mode. This little device, it's so easy to use. The shot mode once a day. It's really good at getting those fine lines under your eyes, you know, where we get our Botox. Shot mode is the first one. There's 5 levels to it. And you're simply going to hit those targeted areas. You'll do this for 5 minutes, and it counts down the 5 minutes that you're doing it. The next mode is the booster mode, and that's just going to help your skin absorb the serums that you put in. You put the serums on, and then you're just going to rub it in like this, and it's going to help your skin absorb it better. Don't buy this if you want to keep getting Botox, because this could eliminate the need for Botox.
Okay, so let me break it down for you guys for all of these machines, right? This girl says you have to do your eye for, she did her one eye for 5 minutes. I don't know about you, but I could never get through that. Like, I would be 5 seconds. Okay, 5 minutes, an eye, and you only have to use it every day. I think if I rubbed an ice cube on my eye for 5 minutes every day, I could have the same results as that. It's basically creating some kind of inflammation with some sort of, whether it's radio frequency or ultrasound or any vibrating anything for 5 minutes, you're going to get some inflammation that makes you look better. You know, it's got a very pointy end, so it's very localized where you get that inflammation. So it's like not everything. And so that's what's kind of hard about these machines. If you have the time, okay, go for it. I don't know who could spend 5 minutes per eye to try to make their eyes look better every single day. I feel like time-wise that comes out, Botox actually comes out being cheaper.
Yeah, with your time.
I mean,
Yeah.
it depends. Do you have more time or more money? But I feel like that one, or all of them, they make them so weak too that you can't hurt yourself. So even if there's no machine, let's say, that's going to stop the muscle from flexing, that's going to be not in the hands of a medical professional, right? They're not going to allow out there be like, oh yeah, we'll stop your muscles from flexing in this machine. So that's really what Botox does. So when they say you're not going to need Botox anymore, I mean, if that was the case, I'd be hooked up to that machine right now and be like, oh really? Okay, never again Botox, perfect. But they're not strong enough. Even true lasers, you still have to have Botox because it's the muscle.
It's the muscle. Yeah. I always tell people, they call and they say, should I do Botox or facials? And it's not either or. One's
Not even
texture,
close.
tone, skin, and one is your muscle. What bothers you more? Does your skin, your texture, your tone bother you more? Is your skin dehydrated, or is it your wrinkles? And you still need both. You still need good skincare. You still need.
Well, that's
facials
the
are
thing
so
too,
fun.
is that people don't realize that it's that repetitious movement. That's usually when I tell people to even start Botox, because I get that all the time too. Like, when do I start? And I usually tell people, I don't care what your age is, but if you have that at rest, let's say you have no expression at all, and you have a line somewhere, you need to start Botox. You know why? It's getting scarred in.
Yeah.
Lines become scars. People don't realize that. And then we have to start treating them as scars. I mean, if you have a line that's deep enough where I could stick a quarter in it and it would stick there, that needs laser, filler, and Botox now.
And if they would have
So-
started with Botox earlier, like
Oh.
I had pretty bad 11s, and I started doing Botox with you 20 something years ago, and it was really a game changer because my dad has a deep line here.
Oh, mine
I
too.
remember when you did my dad's Botox, we laid him down and he did it, and he was like, I don't know why. It took 2 seconds. He's like, I don't know. We just did it. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't even. He's like, I didn't even think we asked him.
poor
We're
man.
Like, we did about your Botox. It was just here. He was all mad, and a few days later he forgot about it, and people were saying, Robert, did you go on vacation? Robert, you look great, Robert. And even the staff was like, your dad's in such a good mood. Nothing's changed on my father, except he didn't have this heavy...
Scowl.
Well, if he said, hey, I need to talk to you, people were like scared of him. Now he's like, hey, I need to talk to you. and his face is relaxed. They were like, "Sure, what's up?"
Yeah.
My dad's the nicest guy. He was never, but he scared people because of,
That's
of it.
hilarious.
So I had my dad's 11s, and I remember you telling me and I started it really young, and I am so glad I did.
Yeah,
because
it's not grooved in there. Me too, man. I had that number 11 so deep and so hard in my 20s. I had it.
me too.
I think that's just because I'm an angry Italian. It was like, in there. Can I tell you a really crazy story about melasma, you guys? I had like it was like at a time where I was doing all these bakers that were like, I'm never in the sun. I work from like 3 in the morning till like 10 in the morning. I'm never in the sun ever. And I said, start opening the oven from the side and just see what happens. I had 4 of them at random times telling them that. All of them told me that their melasma got better.
The heat.
It was the heat from the oven that was making it flare. Isn't that weird?
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So I was like, okay, people. So now I even try to make sure, because I can be definitely prone to it, but I think about that sometimes now. If I'm about to open the oven, I'm like, ooh, I don't want to get some flash of melasma kicking in here, and I don't know what's going to stir it up. So anyway, that was just another weird little
That's
thing.
actually a really good tip.
Heat and melasma, any kind of heat. So
Any heat.
it can be any heat. Yep. All right, you guys. I mean, I think it's worth it if you have the time to go and check all this stuff out. If you just want something that's tried and true and we know it works, come and see me. If you have the time and you want to save a little bit of money, it might end up costing you money initially because you're going to have to go through all these brands and figure out what's what. Is it real? Does it work? Use it for 5 minutes per eye per day, whatever. I'm not totally against it. At that age, I didn't have 2 nickels to rub together, so I would have had to go that route. At least she's trying something and not getting scarred.
If someone tells, I'm literally probably will order these tonight. I love trying. I haven't found anything I love, but I love the fantasy of it. Like I'll try a machine just to like.
Me too. Well, me too.
My favorite ones are those people who sell them at like the trade shows, or like if you're out, like especially in Vegas, where they put that one eye cream on you and it firms up.
Yeah.
I am such a sucker for all their things.
Oh yeah, no, I've even bought that myself. My husband, even one time when we sat through that whole thing, he's like, "You're actually leaving with a bag of skin cream from Las Vegas?" And I was like, "Yep, I am."
Yeah, they had a magnetic mask, and I bought all these.
You know what it is? It's caffeine.
Yeah,
caffeine plumps that skin up and makes it look like that.
and they also have Peter Thomas Roth makes one now that's actually even like better because I bought both. It has it's like a Matrexyl, like a peptide that firms. It only lasts about 5 hours or so. It still works. They're fun.
Yeah,
I mean,
if that's
fun.
your thing, I'm all
try
for
it
it.
one time. It's actually kind of cool.
Yeah.
They're like $30 at Sephora. I'm like, this is the coolest eye cream. It's not my favorite because it's dry, but if you need like a quick depuffy, it works.
Okay, good to know. All right. Thank you, guys. Nice to see everybody, and we will see you again next time.
Yep.
And maybe Nana will have questions too. If you have questions, if you have videos, bring them to us. Also, if you have been the partaker of a terrible Groupon, I need to talk to you. Come on down. Okay, see you guys next time. Bye.